Hi, I'm Nupur Kumar, the managing partner at Stack Professional, and I'm here with Puja, Sohi, and Avneet Kaur.
Hi
Puja
guys.
and Avneet, hi. Puja and Avneet are the co-founders of Core Family Office, and today they're going to teach us about defined benefit plans. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
Our
us.
pleasure.
All right, great. Well, I know that we have a lot of discussions about defined benefit plans, and they're such a great option that very few business owners know about. And it's almost a disservice that they don't know this much information. So, would you mind giving us an introduction into what your office does and also kind of an overview of what a defined benefit plan is?
Absolutely. What's really great about our team is that we are actually considered a family office. The structure of a family office is such that all your advisors are supposed to be on your payroll and report to you for your best interest. That includes all taxation, financial planning, retirement planning, real estate, loans, mortgages, everything that regards investments under the sun, basically. And the concept of bringing all these things together for your convenience is that all your advisors are talking to each other. So we have created that
Right.
platform and made it very easy. And working with you guys, it's been a great advantage. The fact that you guys are tax filers and preparers and can do
Mhm.
all reporting and filing, we can actually bring in that forward part of the accounting practice and bring in that future planning for the client and serve them better. That's the idea. A defined benefit plan specifically is a very unique product that's
Right.
available to business owners. And we're hoping that by discussing this more in detail, that the business owners will learn more
Yes.
in contacting you and of course asking you more questions.
All right, great. I think that one big question I always have from business owners, especially ones who were profitable during COVID, is what they can do to bring down their taxes. And I think that's the biggest thing we talk about because we're in a tax office, and that's so much
Right.
what we do. And we do want to be here to service our clients more. Overall, who would really be considered, who should consider a defined benefit plan?
A sole proprietor is good for them. A business owner that has like about 3 to 5 employees,
Mhm.
two business partners just them by themselves, that would be perfect for them too. The smaller the scenario of people in the office, the better it is for you.
So like a
Really?
real
Yes.
estate investors,
It's
right? They
perfect
take
for them.
most of their income as 1099, so we focus a lot on 1099. What we're also realizing lately is that physicians, surgeons fall into that 1099 category as well. And
That's
so
very
we,
true. That's very
right?
true.
Yeah.
A lot of
So
people in the
now
medical
these
industry
guys
fall into
have
that.
been seeking all this personal income
Mhm.
and don't know how or what plans would be great for them. Those are great opportunities for
Exactly.
defined benefit plans. And we really hope to take that $100,000 taxation issue or $50,000
Right.
taxation issue out completely and gear you up for the future where, 5 to 10 years of your life, you're catering to put away in this plan that's functioning as not only a tax deduction tool, but
Mhm.
also as an investment tool because you put your money
Right.
away instead of Uncle Sam's pocket, you put that money away in your pocket, and
Exactly.
now it's compounding for you. So great. Now, when time comes and you have to pay your taxes, now you'll have a nice fat bucket to pay that money from.
That makes sense. And I think that instead of focusing on just saving taxes in the moment now, really pushing it to be useful for you in the future is
Well, it's better
so
for the future because you don't know what your taxation is going to look like in the future. You know what it
right.
is now. So would you
Right.
rather pay taxes now when your taxation is lower or
Right.
in the future when you don't know what it's going to be?
Right. Right. Definitely. When you have that knowledge now, it's so much more useful to focus on it in the now.
Exactly.
That makes sense. So with a defined benefit plan, right? Do you have to? It says defined benefits in the name. Do you have to define a benefit? Is that really the focus? Is pulling that money out of the company and defining a benefit?
Exactly. So the concept is that you're going to take a fixed amount of money and commit it for like 5 years. We prefer 5 years because IRS prefers 5 years. We
Yeah.
like to do everything as black and white, right?
Exactly.
But there is a
Yeah.
change allowed in the middle. Plan changes
Mhm.
are allowed in the middle, but usually they're restricted to once in 5 years. What that means is that it should not drain your pocket to have a plan like this. There are two
Yeah.
types of defined benefits. You can have a
Mhm.
market structured defined benefit, or you can have an insured guaranteed defined benefit, and only guarantees show up on the insurance side, right? So if you have to go towards the market, cash balance, which is
Right.
another very commonly used word for a defined
Defined
benefit
benefit
plan,
plan.
a lot of people think, oh my God, my employees are going to get 15 to 20%, and I'm not going to get anything. Well, there's a whole other side of this where we can structure you better so that, you're comfortable putting away that money for your employees while also lining up your pockets as an employer and taking care of yourself, right? You got to make sure you are successful to make sure your employees are successful.
And another thing that we look out for when we're doing a defined benefit plan is the owner needs to be older than his employees, because if it's the opposite way around, then the employer is contributing more for the employee than for himself.
And these are small structural changes that will catch people off guard. And there are ways to go about this for entrepreneurs or people who have two things, for example, or two avenues of income. So for example, a real estate person who might be doing stock trading, there are two streams of income, and we can kind of streamline that income into a different type of structured entity where you might have some employees on one side, but you might not have any employees on the other. So we can work in a way where it's beneficial for the employers also. That's our focus, making sure the employees are successful so that the employees can be successful.
Yeah, definitely, because I think that so many employers feel like they pay so much more in tax, which is true. There's a lot that employers pay tax. When you have a small business, you don't make the small business so that you can pay to Uncle Sam. You pay. That's not the goal.
I feel like small business gets hammered the hardest because they have the most limited resources, and hopefully with our family office structure that we're providing, clients will be very happy to see that now that you offer a 6-prong approach to taking care of their financial well-being rather than just looking at reporting and filing, which you guys are experts at already.
Right.
So it's one of those ways to make sure that clients can get more value, benefits. Right, bang for their buck.
Exactly.
Awesome. That's awesome. So we already talked about who should consider it, and we talked about some of the benefits to employers. So what is the process of setting one up? What information needs to be provided to you in order to make that happen?
Well, first they need to contact you and say, yes, I need this. And then once they do that, then we'll go ahead and sit down with them. We'll have a conversation, see because we have to be able to identify if this is actually suitable for them or not.
Yeah.
Right.
So once we do our suitability, then we'll ask for the information, obviously their name, their personal information, their basics that they need to provide. And then depending on if we're going with the market or if we're going with the insurance, there's different avenues that we would talk to them about.
It's basically, you have to get it's a 3-step process.
Yes.
First would be an online entry with very basic information that the client will fill themselves. The second step would be more interactive from our side and your side, and getting more detailed information, probably some account statements. And the third is usually the closing, where you're making sure the products line up. The client must be aware of what's happening and how it's happening. So we answer questions in the third stage before the closings. And then
we get a third-party administrator involved because it requires a third-party administrator. So they will handle the reporting, they will handle the setting up of the defined benefit plan, and will handle implementing the products that go within the defined benefit plan.
And then Fact Professional, of course, will be working hand in hand with the third-party administrator for you. So that's how that would be the last part of it in plan management.
Exactly.
Perfect. So that makes sense. It sounds like there's a lot of different steps, but the initial process is really just getting the information you need, assessing whether or not the client would be eligible, explaining the whole process to them, and then getting a TPA involved if need be. Well, of course, need be. So
without you, we can't do it.
Right. You need a TPA for this whole process. That makes sense. So, obviously we have the question of how can someone get in touch with you if they're interested. So the first step, I think, is to, of course, reach out to our office. We'll assess if they're eligible, and then connect our clients with you. And then beyond that, they can see the process. How long does it take approximately, from start to finish?
Honestly, it would take anywhere between 60 to 90 days, depending on
the complexity
what plans we're going with and how many moving parts there are. But like 90 days is average. We can still help save 2020 taxes with this plan. Thank God.
That's really significant. Is that you can still? That's really significant that you can still put something in place now. Right.
Yes. So for 2020, for all those clients that are going to be paying 6 figures in taxes or close to 6 figures, this is a fantastic way to check out if you qualify.
Exactly. And come to you, obviously.
Of course.
No, of course. Well, and one big question I have is, what would you say is a good threshold in terms of net income? at what stage would someone start to consider, having these alternative ways? And I know it's a little bit of a hard question, but if you could give a rough, I think that will really help business owners assess that.
Would actually, I would recommend about 200,000.
250.
Yeah, 250 consistently for 3 years is a good prediction.
Yes.
If you've been putting in a gross of 250, net of about 200, that's a great prediction for you to be that you're setting in the right trend and that you have that predictability. Normally, we look for that 3-year mark with about no less than 200 net income.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. Yeah, because of course we want to make sure that this is worth it and that all the work that they put in actually makes sense and has
to make a difference.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. If you're gonna do all this, yeah, exactly. It should make a difference.
Plans cost money, and if there are other ways to do it. So, for example, if you don't qualify for a defined benefit plan, but you need those tax deductions, there are other plans that you might qualify for. That might not be a defined benefit type of a structure and more non-committal, like a SEP IRA annuity. We'll talk about that in another project.
Yes,
definitely. I think SEP IRA is a great option.
Yeah, so it's just a conversation that you need to get started with fact professionals to have this conversation, and they know how to engage us.
Perfect. Love it. Any other questions that you thought would be really relevant to any of our clients or anyone watching?
That they should be contacting you because you are one of the best.
Yes, actually.
Thank you.
I love
Thank you. But I want to make sure that, I'm sure, it's on all this. So.
Right. What's very important nowadays is having a tax person on your side, a trusted advisor that can guide you through not only just what has happened, but what's about to happen.
Definitely.
So I think you guys are pointed in the right direction and heading to the right destination, and we're happy to
be there on the ride with you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Love it. Well, thank you so much. Thank you both for joining us today and kind of going over everything. And of course, if anyone who's watching wants to get in touch with our office, you can reach out at info@factprofessional.com, and then we'll get you set up, evaluate the business, and see if you'll be a good fit for a defined benefit plan, and have that conversation with Avneet and Puja. And then, of course, make sure to subscribe at Fact Professional Inc. Accounting YouTube channel for more helpful information. And we'll see you next time. Thank you, Avneet and Puja. Great seeing you.
Thank you for having us.